So today I'm going to talk about a Michael Jordan rookie and a Hulk Hogan 1982 Wrestling All-Stars. Stop. Just stop. Today I'm going to talk about something more important than cards. I'm going to talk about mental health. And the reason I'm bringing it up this week is it's my feeling that there are a lot of folks in the hobby that struggle with depression, struggle with anxiety, may not feel like their life is as fulfilling as it can be. And I don't know why I think it's more prevalent in sports cards and sports card collectors, but I have a theory that it is. And the reason I think that is because collecting sports cards at its core is a pretty solitary activity. Yes, there are communities. Yes, you can talk to your friends. Yes, you can post on social media. But when you get down to it, it's you and your cards, right? Your connection to the cards is what drives the hobby. And that in and of itself is a projection of yourself onto a piece of cardboard, onto a picture, your memories, etc., etc. So given that, I think that people that are drawn to sports cards are people that tend to be pretty cerebral, people that tend to evaluate themselves, look at themselves in other things, project themselves onto the world, and perhaps form their own feelings about themselves through their projections, which is also one of the root causes of some of the anxiety and depression. So the point of this week's video is to say, if you are going through that, that is normal. It's something that you don't need to be ashamed of, something that you don't need to struggle with alone. So what are some ways to cope with feelings of being down, feelings of not feeling like your life is as fulfilling as it can be? The first one I'm going to talk about is the idea of evaluating your life in comparison to expectations. We're surrounded by social media, we're surrounded by ideas of what life should be, whether it is on social media, on advertisements, just in the world around you. People are driving cars they can't afford, living in houses that they have mortgages on, and having that expectation in life is very difficult. It's very driven by your own finances and your own ability to sustain those spending habits, which most people don't have. So having the expectation that your life is going to be fulfilling due to the material things around you is a very difficult thing to uphold. And when you realize that you can't uphold that, or that it's unrealistic to uphold that, your feelings about what your life should be are challenged, and that can lead to depression. So take a step back from your expectations, realize that life just is what it is. You don't have as much control over it as you think you might, and there's no value in that. Having a certain life that has more material value, that allows you to wear nicer clothes or live in nicer houses or drive nicer cars, does not necessarily mean a better life. That's just an expectation that you're placing on it, that that's what you should have, or that's what you deserve, or that is going to lead to a better life. So taking a step back from those expectations is step one. Step two in that is a very similar thing, which is realizing you have no control. So when you are in sports cards and you're looking on social media, what are you generally looking at? You're looking at the folks that have the big cards, right? They're the ones that are holding up the big one-of-ones, the autos, the chromes, the parallels, the items that you wish you had. And realizing that the only reason they have those is generally because they could spend the money to get them. They could shell out top dollar to bring them in, or they could buy thousands upon thousands of hobby boxes such that they could rip it. And that is something that you have less control of than you think. In other words, you can't control if you have a big card. It's just based on what you have for funds to buy that card. If you happen to come from old money, if you happen to have a high-paying job, if you happen to get very lucky, then you have those means to get that. So celebrate other people having it, but don't think that your lack of having those cards means that your life is less fulfilling or that you're not as good as a collector. Having the expectation or the feeling that you can control the amount of money coming in based on the hobby is another trapdoor that's going to lead you to depression. And the third one is to pull yourself away sometimes. You know, Collecting cards, you have so many objects, it's a hoarding mentality. And sometimes when you hoard objects, that can actually lead to more depression. So take a step back, put them in the closet, tuck them away, and say that's okay. It doesn't matter if you don't post social media every week or every day. It doesn't matter if you don't get likes and you don't get comments. It doesn't matter if people are not interacting with your collection. It's just an aspect of your life, but it is not your life itself. So those are 3 thoughts that I had today. I wanted to put them out on video, hoping that that's more valuable than looking at my cards this week. Stay good, stay true to yourself. Peace.